Welcome to Peace, Freedom, and Joy for Changemakers. I am your host, Michelle Vanderhay, and today's 5 minute message is got to, get to, or let go. Like many 5 minute messages, this idea came to me when I was out for a walk, and many of us have maybe heard of shifting our mindset from instead of saying, I have to do this or I've got to do this, shifting it to I get to do this because just making that shift in and of itself can help you to see something from a different perspective. And that's what's really important about this message of shifting your mindset from like, oh my gosh, I have to go to work, or I have to go to this meeting, or I have to meet with this person, or I have to do this, I have to do that. And when we're saying those things, it has a negative feeling to it. Even just think about it to yourself right now. When you're saying, I have to, or I've got to do this, how are you feeling in your body? What thoughts are coming up? Are they positive feelings, feelings like you're in your authentic self, or are they more like negative feelings, or maybe feeling like you're in your conditioned self? Oftentimes, it's negative feelings. It's this feeling like you're being told you have to do something, that you don't have a choice in this. And so it can feel really negative. Instead of having it feel negative, you can shift that into, I get to do this. And that can shift into more of this positive feeling, right? When you say, like, oh, I get to do something, because oftentimes, when do we say, oh, I get to? It's when you're doing something fun, or maybe you're meeting a friend that you haven't seen in a while, or maybe you get to go on vacation, or you get to go try something new. That's oftentimes when we use the phrase I get to, we use it for positive things. So when you can shift from I've got to do this into I get to do this, it can help shift your mindset and your perspective around whatever the thing is that you're doing, whether it's a meeting, whether it's an action that you need to take, all of those types of things. So that is really important in and of itself. And this can go for creating new habits like working out or adding movement, or maybe reading more, or all of these types of things. When you're trying something new and pushing that edge of your comfort zone, sometimes we can get to this point of like, oh, I've got to do this. Or it's like when you do something over and over again and it just like feels so boring and not fun, or something that you don't enjoy doing. For me, I don't enjoy doing my bookkeeping. And it's funny because it's something that I used to do for other businesses is I would help with bookkeeping. Wasn't a bookkeeper per se, but I would help do all of the bookkeeping things. I was an accounting major for a year in college as well, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, I would have to get myself in this mindset of like, okay, instead of saying, oh, I've got to do my books, oh, I've got to do my bookkeeping, I started shifting my mindset into, I get to do my bookkeeping because when I'm doing my bookkeeping, it helps my business run properly. It helps me to figure out where am I making money? Where am I losing money? So this can be for nonprofits and mission driven organizations too. What are some of these things that you have to do that maybe you feel like you don't have a choice to do, but shifting into I get to do this shifts from feeling like you don't have a choice into feeling like maybe you do have a choice. It can help you shift into that mindset. Here's the last piece of this 5 minute message of got to, get to, or let go. When I was thinking about this on my walk, I was like, but what if there's something that I just don't ever want to do? That there is no changing my mindset around this thing, that I have to do it. And it feels like I've just got to do it. And there's no getting me to think I get to do this and putting this positive spin on it. What happens then? What do I do? And what I'm offering today is maybe it's time for you to let go of that thing. If you can't get yourself to shift your mindset around something that you need to do, especially if it's something that you have to do on a regular basis. So, for instance, my example was bookkeeping. Instead of me being like, okay, I sometimes get myself to say, oh, yeah, I get to do my bookkeeping, but I can tell it's very surface level and it's really not helping me at all. What I decided to end up doing is I still have to have bookkeeping. I still have a business, right? Every business, nonprofits, for profits, every business requires some sort of books. And so I couldn't just say, well, I don't need to do my books. They still need to happen. So what I did was I hired someone. I let that piece of it go and put it in the hands of someone else. So First of all, I hired someone who that is their zone of genius, and it has dramatically affected my business, and it helped me to become profitable. It helped me to really see my numbers and really be able to reflect on numbers and see them more accurately, like just getting like charts and all this sort of stuff that I wasn't even doing. So I let this go. It's being done better than it was being done before. Someone who is doing it, they say, I get to do this. They don't feel like I've got to do this. And it got me out of this mindset of I've got to do this. So I was able to let that go. And so sometimes there are things that if you can't get your mindset around, I get to do this, and feeling positive about it and seeing the positive with it, it may be time for you to let go. And how can you let go of that? For some things, for the example of bookkeeping, it may mean letting go and letting someone else do it. It may also mean, is this something that the organization that we just no longer need to do anymore? Maybe that's social media. That's like a big one for people of like, oh, I hate doing social media. Maybe you can hire an intern, someone that you don't have to like pay at a high level, but you can still pay them fairly when you can start recognizing this and saying, okay, I'm not able to shift my mindset to getting to do this and it being something that feels positive, that it's time for me to let go. What are those things that you can start letting go of? And I bet there are more things than you realize that you can let go on. And you may think, well, I don't know how I'm going to pay for a bookkeeper. I don't know how I'm going to pay someone to do this. When you let go of it, sometimes those answers come after that. Sometimes you have to take that leap of faith. Sometimes you have to be pushed out of your comfort zone a little bit and say, okay, I'm going to let go of this. And then that allows more to come in. Because, first of all, when I was doing my bookkeeping, I wasn't doing it on a regular basis. And it was just stressful all around, but I don't even have to think about it anymore. There's still pieces of it that I have to do, but it's really just like giving my bookkeeper the information and then they're taking care of all of the rest of the stuff that really matters. And so it just lifted this burden off of me and helped me to feel more at ease, more peace, freedom, and joy. I felt more peace around it and more joy around it because now I get excited. I get excited every month when my bookkeeper's like, hey, I'm missing this receipt and all this kind of stuff because it's like, I can't wait to get those reports from her because I know that it's going to help me to grow and expand my mission. It's going to help me to know what I've done and where I need to go. That's where letting go can help you to align with your mission, stay in alignment with your mission, and continue to work towards that peace, freedom, and joy. So, what is it for you that you've been maybe saying to yourself, oh, I've got to do this? Start recognizing that in yourself. Of when are you saying it, whether out loud or internally? Oh, I've got to do this, or I have to do this. Are you able to shift into, I get to do this? I get to go to work. I get to, like, another example for me is I'm doing a lot of driving, doing a lot of in person, longer distance driving for me this week. I have facilitating for 3 different things this week, all 45 minutes to an hour and a half away. And I'm not a big fan of driving. So instead of saying, oh, I've got to drive, I get to drive because I get to impact more people. My mission gets to expand more. And so I can shift my mindset out of I've got to do this into I get to do this. But if I was doing it too much, I would maybe have to let go of some things. Maybe it's time for me to not do so many in person things so far away, so close together. So taking these sayings and checking in on your mindset to figure out, can I shift my mindset into get to, or is it something that it's time for me to let go of? I would love to hear your feedback. If you're in the Facebook group, Peace, Freedom, and Joy for Changemakers, you can leave your comment on this video. If you're not part of the Facebook group already, feel free to join us. You can check it out in the show notes. If you have feedback for me or you have an aha moment from this episode, you're welcome to send me a DM or maybe share this episode and tag me in it and share what your biggest aha is from this or your biggest takeaway or feedback that you have for me from this episode. So sending you all light and love, and always remember that you are worth it.